A very good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So, this gives me immense pleasure out here for having this event actually happening in live out here. Can we have also mobiles silent? Please, because we are actually recording this entire session, which will be out on the occasion of World Photography Day across the YouTube channel of VIBGYOR. And the main reason why we opted for this kind of a session, because I am learning photography and I am practicing photography for a bit more than a decade. Not as much as the stalwart sitting out here, but across this timeline, I have not found too many sessions like this kind of thing where we get to know something of the genre of photojournalism. There are a lot of debates, a lot of discussions, which happens quite often on the other genres. We get a lot of discussion on wildlife, we get a lot of discussion on the landscape, the macros, fashion, definitely, product photography, then the designing of them. But I personally, I may not, maybe because I have maybe missed out, but I have not found that happening quite often across the entire Indian territory that this kind of a session happens. So this actually triggered my mind when I went a few months back in a session where even Sir was there at the PSI event, and there Prasad Sir told something which was very alarming. If you remember, he told that all the PSI members have submitted their entries in all other genres except the genre of photojournalism, where the entries are very less. And the moment I listened to that, that actually matched the dot, that this is exactly what even I have been facing. That I have been finding so many things happening for the other genres. Photojournalism, which happens to be the eye of the democracy, in my opinion, why people are avoiding it? Because I feel the camera that we are carrying or we are using, irrespective of which brand it is, whether it is a DSLR mirrorless or a mobile phone or even it's a analog camera, the moment you are picking up and you are using it, you are actually holding up a lot of responsibilities because you are showcasing something. You are telling somebody who was or who is not there right at that moment, right at that time, and that's actually in this kind of the genre you are portraying truth. So I felt that maybe people are more interested in making things very fancy, look very good, and run away from the hardcore realities. I felt so because there are very few people, those who are doing this kind of genre day in, day out, and I don't know, but I thought that let's do something for the occasion of World Photography Day. Let's try to motivate few people, listen from the stalwarts, their experiences, because I think they have seen the generations of media and photojournalism across. It's not just what is happening today. There are a lot of changes that have happened across the last few decades. They have been witnessing it in the core field. So I thought getting them on the board would be really nice. So, but we initially started only with a panel discussion thought. But then I realized that how to engage the people rather than just showcasing a YouTube video, which can be very common. આજકાલ podcast more common. Many people are doing different podcasts, and I think that is nothing fresh into it. So I thought that let me try to engage people from across India into this particular thought. So then we realized we had a word. So just before I move on, I have troubled all the three panelists tremendously for the last few months. Like we had crazy discussions across the day. Whenever I used to have some idea in my mind, I just drop a message in the group. Definitely. From there and also I appreciate that all three of them have been giving two good inputs to ensure that this entire process of whatever we are planning as a World Photography Day 2026 to come alive and full of value additions into it. So then we realized that we can ask people to submit the photographs. Let's create genre which will be hardcore into photojournalism rather than the regular genres in which we get a lot of contest. So that's the reason why I remember when I first listed the 4 themes and we discussed. Definitely the themes are not like they are unaware of, but our regular members, our VIBGYOR members, they raised concerns. What are we supposed to showcase in this thing? Because they are not connecting. It's very obvious. It's nothing like they are not a good photographer or they don't have a good mindset of being a good photographer. It is only like the language of photojournalism is still not yet versed by them. That's all. And then I tried to help them with some small text in the website where you can go through the text, understand what the genre is all about. Even after that, there were suggestions by few of them that can you please also add few photographs which can help us to understand each genre. And I dropped that message in the group. Mukesh sir immediately sent 6 to 7 photographs that you can just quickly put it up across the website so that they can get an easy understanding of the genre. So the moment that was done, people started connecting. So now they are understanding the language of photojournalism. Now this is the most beautiful part of photography. It is all visual. It doesn't require you to understand English. It doesn't require you to understand any of your mother tongue. And that's what has happened. That's what the magic has happened. You won't believe there are cities and locations which I have never ever even have heard about the name. Interior parts and villages of various states across India from where the submissions have come, and it was so fascinating to see those cultural extravaganza, those people of those states and everything. Few of the photographs definitely which have already got some good recognitions previously is already known by the stalwarts, but there are few which were like we will be showing the final set of images in the end. We are going to showcase it because that's very interesting, and the most interesting part was when we were doing the final set of selection, and they were so good of like I think it was 2.5 hours almost we were over the VC and we were analyzing, and it was really I think even they were confused that how can we select one winner from this set. So but then with all the 3 judges putting in their own expertise and all, we have finalized the winners, and we are going to showcase that. But before that, I thought that let this panel discussion, which we are shooting today, which is on 8th of August at Vashi, this is Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan Center, Navi Mumbai, and we are going to record this. We are recording it raw, so that's the reason why we thought that even this video will not be edited. This video will be put up raw. We are not going to edit even a single word or a single second of this. So we are going to just cut the videos after every panelist is over, just to ensure that the files are set into one single file and will be uploaded. Because that's what I wanted to showcase, that yes, this is the era of AI. Yes, this is the era of Photoshop. Yes, you can add or delete a word in your photographs, but still, if you really want to excel in photojournalism, always keep the truth alive. This is what I really want everyone, please take care of and take photojournalism seriously, because that's the eye and decision making for the generations to come, even beyond this. So every photo click today, every photo archived today is basically the history for tomorrow. So thank you so much to all the participants, definitely those who are here, those who are not aware or like not here in physical presence. We will be seeing the video later on for the lovely submissions, and we are so glad that we have got a very good competitive echoes in realities, and the results are going to be out today. But before we move on, we have set this unfiltered session. So that's the reason why we have mentioned the name also, Unfiltered. So we are going to talk about photojournalism as the main genre. We have 3 panelists out here. Definitely we'll start with the veteran Shri Mukesh Parpiani sir. Then we will have Krishna Madhavan Pillai sir on board, and then we will have Chimadin Chaudhary out here. Sir will come, and everyone have different perspective. Everyone has catered different era of photography. But yes, the most beautiful part is at the end of the day, the motto and the intent for all these photographers are the same: promote photography and to ensure the fraternity goes to the right path. So, taking that note, I request Mr. Mukesh Parpiani to please come on the dais as our first panelist, and please a big round of applause for Mukesh sir. Please, chair like that. I'll give you one more chair. Thank you, sir, for being here with us. I'll just quickly give a very short description because मुकेश सर के लिए जितना भी बोलूँ, अगर मैं 2 घंटे में बोलूँ तो शायद कम पड़ेगा. So I'll give you a very short bio and a description for Mukesh sir. So definitely he is a very veteran newsroom photo editor and he's the first panelist for us. So he's a towering figure in the landscape of Indian photojournalism, a man whose discerning eyes has shaped the visual history of our nation for decades. Shri Mukesh Parpiani is not just a photographer, he is an institution. As a veteran newsroom photo editor, he has manned the visual end of some of the country's most prestigious publications. Now, while I am saying this, we will also take a small tour where I have been seeing Mukesh sir has brought in some hard copy frames which are displayed across the rooms out here. So that's what is something which is adding charm and adding the entire ambience more into the prospect in which we are going to talk today. So he is a gatekeeper of the Unposed Truth, the man who decides which frame captures the grit, the triumph and the tragedy of the daily news circle. Known for his uncompromising ethics and his relentless drive to capture raw reality, he has mentored a generation of photojournalism, teaching them that a great image is not made in the camera, but in the mind of the fearless storyteller. Please, once again, put your hands together for the legendary. Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. So, sir, before we start, I would love to have a small overview about this entire journey process. आपको मतलब ये पूरा प्रोसेस में आपका क्या कैसा थॉट प्रोसेस था कि VIBGYOR के साथ एक ऐसा अनफिल्टर्ड एक जर्नी थोड़ा सा आपका.
First of all, I will thank you for inviting me on this platform. And there are many organizations promoting photography in different aspects, but you decided to promote photojournalism. So I am grateful to you for selecting photojournalism, which is losing its charm. The earlier generation, right from you can see the freedom struggle to the hard news and now to the glamour news. Photojournalism is changing overnight, day by day. So still you have decided to promote it. Thank you very much.
No, sir, it's really my pleasure. So thank you so much once again. So sir, I have been seeing wonderful frames and definitely we have been seeing your images at NCPA across the internet and I have been blessed that I have been keeping interacting with Mukesh sir and he has also gifted me one of his previous books and I'm so glad because that's a lot of learning because I always feel sir my learning of photography is from an institution like Ramakrishna Mission. So that's very hardcore. People may think old school, but I feel it's very traditionally and technically sound. So I have been taught by the Gurujis and the Maharajas that you have to be patient when you want to learn or grab something. It's like a sponge. You should grab it. So whenever I see images, whenever I see your images, even to the other photographers, irrespective they are stalwarts or they are very fresh. There are even a lot of youngsters from which I have learned a lot of techniques and I have seen how they are framing, their different perspective. So that's a lot of learning I think and today we are going to talk about something on your journey to this wonderful fraternity. So I would love to start with something which always have given me a lot of questions because when I was very young and my uncle used to do photography and he used to stay just one step down from where I used to stay and he used to do it in analog because at that time digital photography was not in the picture and I used to see the magic how a photo is created. I can still forget that wonderful evenings when I used to finish my works and I used to rush downstairs and he used to develop the negatives in the classroom and he used to tell me when I was very young at that time, आजा तुझे मैं लिख दिखाता हूँ and the white paper.
Here is a pin roll.
Yes, see, so that's, see, so this is what, so this is something, I don't know, like, people, those who have not worked on these kind of things, it's so much of nostalgia for me. So I can still go back to those days. I can still remember that I'm wearing my shorts, rushing downstairs, and in that dark room, and like, Aja, magic dikha. And he used to take out a sheet and then into the chemical, and he used to like do this one, and I can see some photo coming up. So this was so. I don't know. I can't have any words to express. But on that note, since I have already seen that, definitely now utilizing this is on the cost benefit and everything that comes into the picture. But still, I always felt that maybe this was things were more serious when people were holding this, just because the cost was a factor, or maybe that was only because it was for the serious photographers, or maybe someone like parents like my father, National 35, wo Kodak, those are the most commonly the views are. Yes. So on that answer of the psychology of the frame of analog versus digital, I would have to ask you the first question that your foundational years in photojournalism were defined by the discipline of film. I remember I have spoken to you about this, where every single click was calculated and a deliberate decision due to limited frames. So today when this entire thing has changed, and it has changed to the digital technology which allows photographers to just shoot boundlessly. So how do you feel this shift from anticipating the moment to capturing everything has altered the psychology approach and patience of modern photojournalism?
See, I will not talk ex tempo, but I have written down answer to all your questions, because if I start answering ex tempo, then I will go from pillar to post, and my answer will not end in another 1 hour. So let me answer your first question. In the film days, every frame had a cost, not just financially but mentally. You did not casually waited, watched, and tried to understand the movement before committed to it. The process teaches the patience, it teaches you to anticipate expressions, movement, and emotion. You are not reacting after the event, you are preparing just before. Digital obviously made a job faster, but digital obviously made the job faster and more flexible, which is a great advantage in the news. But it has also made it easier to become careless, to shoot first and think later. I don't think digital is a problem. The real issue whether the photographer still has a discipline to ask why I am taking this picture and what exactly I am trying to say. The best photographers today, in my views, still carry the mentality of film, even if they are shooting digitally. They don't just capture everything, they still wait for the right moment. Before I go to your second question, I would like to add the first reply, my first line was in film days, every frame had a cost, not just financially but mentally. Now I'll tell you, when the daily newspaper started, my accounts department said, you are publishing 5-6 pictures every day in newspaper, and you are using so many rolls on one assignment. Are you pocketing the rolls and selling it off? One guy went out of the way, okay, I'll tell the stores to remove the packet and hand you over the only bill, so you can't sell it up. There was no question of selling it up, but this was the days we had faced.
This is very interesting. Well, what you have told is really what I love. One of the statements across your reply He told that even today, people who are serious photographers are shooting with a digital camera but with the mindset of a film. Because this is something which I personally have seen about photographers do, and even I try to see that we always go for any kind of trip. Maybe paid, it may be just out of sheer passion, it may be just a casual home event or something. So I personally try to always limit my number of shots. This is my own way of doing it. So even if it's like a day long or like a 5 to 6 hours of a proper stage show, it's like a lot of lights and hybrids and all, I will always try to keep it like today I will keep it limited to around 200 shots. And out of 200, good images should not be less than 150. So what are those 50? Maybe some light which has come usually in the stages, the violet color light, which is a very chromatic application kind of a thing. So I will delete those because usually my way of working is I try to keep it colors. It's more difficult to manage rather than going monochromes. So I always try to keep colors because with that, maybe if I delete also, if there is even like a shade or even if some other people who has rushed or maybe I have tried some experiment which has not given a fruitful result. So 50 is my count out of 250 or 200 which I will delete. Rest has to be like that. So that I keep in my mind. It is a count. So same thing maybe for the digital, I think shots like 36 in a row. So out of 36 there is no chance that you will even think that okay, 4 can be deleted. So I think that is the shift and we have to set a mindset, and I see a lot of people, especially in genres where not in need. So I understand you are going for a wildlife, the bird may fly and you are going for a burst shot. Okay, fine. That's still on some extent. But I see people even going for a maybe a portrait shoot. The portrait is sitting quiet. She is not running away. She is not going anywhere. But still they are going on taking bird shot. And what is the use? Like I don't know either. But maybe slowly the mindset will change. But let's move on to the next question. But before we move on, recording whatever fine. Because so sir, the next question that I intend to talk about is on the theme of the newsroom ecosystem and the mentorship. So during your career leading the photo desks at iconic publications like the Daily, the Midday, the newsroom was a vibrant physical hub of collaboration between reporters, editors, photographers. So today the profession has become much more isolated. So with many working as independent freelancers, what crucial elements of the traditional newsroom mentorship do you think today's young photojournalists are missing, and how can they recreate the ecosystem of learning?
To precisely answer your question in detail, I'll read out. Old newsroom was a very living space of learning. You did not learn only from your own work, you learned from sitting around the editors, seeing which pictures got selected, listening to arguments over the headlines, captions and story and angles. As a young photographer, that kind of environment teaches you something very important, that photography is not separate from journalism. Your image is part of a larger story being built by many people. The other thing we had was most immediate connection. A senior could look at your contact sheet and tell you reached late, you stayed too far away, you got the picture but you missed the story. That kind of blunt, honest feedback is invaluable and makes your career more important. Today many photographers are working alone and that can be isolating, so they have consciously created that support system. Find mentions from peer groups, got editors review their work and invite criticism rather than just applause. If you only show your work to people who say, yeah, great shot, you won't grow. You need people who will tell you what is missing and take more than you deserve.
Yes.
Now I add one thing. As far as going on assignment, my habit was to reach the assignment at least 15-20 minutes before the time and leave the place another 15 and 20 minutes after the event or function is over. And let me tell you that I have hundreds of pictures which I have either shot on reaching the spot and or after the leaving the assignment just before that. I got the very important pictures.
Okay. Well, yes, that's absolutely true. Sir, just on this note, since I think for me, whenever I speak to any of my senior, so I always try to be like keeping my what do you call acceptance of critics open. But it's my own personal experience that it's not just a photojournalist, but overall photographers on today's date. So they are a bit stringent and stubborn in accepting the critics. Have you also faced that same shift of mindset, especially when we are talking about this learning curve at the newsroom and all?
See, photography is not camera but your eye.
Yes.
The eye may see differently. The person standing next to me see it differently. Person third person on this side may be seeing it differently. So it's the way you communicate with your pictures. As I told you, Mrs. Gandhi is there and we are 10 people here. I am not sure that every 10 guys are shooting the same frame. They have different thought
Yes.
process.
Absolutely. Okay. Sir, next I'm going to now move towards the theme of the narrative. So we have two different main narratives. One is the single image, the second is the photo essay. So in the current era of social media, there is a heavy emphasis on capturing the one viral or visually spectacular standalone image. So however, classical photojournalism, what we have understood by seeing photographs, keywords and the others, is deeply valued on the photo essay, where we have some more than one images building a sequential narrative. So could you shed light on the discipline and the journalistic rigor required to build a cohesive or a multi-image story rather than just chasing a single aesthetic frame?
Every second day I will not do a photo essay in a newspaper unless that day is important or the event is important or something is happening. Because you don't have an ad in your paper, you want to fill up the space, I will not give you 5 pictures. Even if I have. So, if there is a Bombay Bunch, I have started from home, I am roaming on 2-wheelers, okay, I don't know which is the page 1 picture, but moment I go moving around, I keep shooting. At the end of the day, after shooting 100 frames, I come and select 10 frames which will make a photo page. Otherwise, every third day, no.
Yes. Okay. So now regarding the most important thing which on today's day when people are talking a lot about plagiarism and all. So when we are talking about authenticity and the viewer's trust. So on that note, so historically a newspaper photograph was considered as the ultimate undeniable proof of an event. So today, with the sheer volume of images consumed daily and the rapid pace of digital media, the context of an image is sometimes lost, sometimes. So as a purist of the craft, how do you advise the new generation to maintain the integrity, context and most importantly the trustworthiness of their image in such fast-paced digital ecosystem?
Let me answer it this way first. For me, trust begins in the field. If you stage a movement, therefore too much or is present something misleading, then damage is already done before the image reaches the newsroom. The second part is context. An image by itself can be powerful, but without proper captioning and explanation, it can also be misunderstood. Especially today when pictures circulate far beyond the original setting, the young photographer must understand that captions are not formality, they are the part of journalism. The who, where, when, why matter just as much as the frame itself. I am not just against technology or editing tools, but they must help alter the truth, what happened. You can improve clarity but cannot change the reality. That line has remained sacred. In the end, people return to photographer because they trust the eye behind the camera. That trust takes years to build, and one can necessary to act loose. See, there was a time when the newspaper photograph was accepted in the courtrooms as a proof. Today not. There was a time, I will not give specific answers, but it is a proof was given by various people in the courtroom that this is the witness, this is the picture of that day, as people have lawyers have put across. So photograph is the most valuable proof of what's happening in your city or whatever event you are covering it. You can manipulate words, but you cannot manipulate photograph. And if somebody is doing it current era, it's bad.
So this reminds me when I started my photography course at Ramakrishna Mission Belur. So initial first few days, Maharaj only gave sessions on the ethics of photography. And I think at that time there were a lot of photographers, pretty much young like me, few were a bit senior to me as well. So they were actually a bit agitated, like, ये सब तो मुझे आता है, आपको क्यों बोलना है, मैं देख लेंगे. So obviously we could not directly tell this to the faculty on their face because उतना तो respect हम लोग भी रखते थे. But there was a classroom of around 82 people in one batch, and we used to have the classes during the weekends for 4 hours. And just for the information, I think only that Belur Math VIBGYOR has this course. No other institutes of Ramakrishna Mission across India has this. Only in the headquarters they have this photography course as of today. They may do it in the near future. And it was like a pilot run for them that we'll do it. So, but I felt that this was so much important, and that's the reason why when I started doing any kind of a basic course or maybe bit advanced composition courses in VIBGYOR, I ensured that my first 5 slides are on ethics of photography. So, I think that is very important, sir, that you have told that people, as I always tell that when you are taking up a camera in your hand, it's not just you are filming or you are documenting something, you are actually holding a lot of responsibility to showcase to the others what is actually happening across the place you are right there at that moment. So, thank you so much. This is something that really giving me a lot of old thoughts and old memories getting reflected while I'm talking to you now. We'll now have a word on this topic of documenting the shifting of the urban canvas. So, you have extensively documented the socio-cultural and infrastructure evolution of Mumbai over almost several decades now. So, when you look at the streets through your lens today compared to the 1980s or 90s? Do you feel the inherent soul of street level documentary photography remains the same, or has the change in urban landscape fundamentally has changed the way a photojournalist must interact with the public?
You're referring to 6.
I'm referring to 5.
5. I think soul remains the same because cities are still at heart about people, their anxiety, humor, fatigue, celebration, small act of survival. That human layer has not changed. But Mumbai itself has changed enormously. The city moves faster now. Public spaces feel more compressed and visually there is much more noise, more hoardings, more traffic, more construction, more destruction. People have changed their relationship to cameras. In earlier decades, the camera could be more invisible. Today, people are far more aware of being photographed and sometimes more guarded or performative. So the photographer has to work differently now with more sensitivity, more conversation and sharper understanding of personal space and public discomfort. You cannot assume the same access that may have existed 30 or 40 years ago. But the mission is still same, to record city and not as infrastructure but as a living experience. Now Mumbai feels one on the street. Now the people who carry it every day. I will add one thing to the current scenario. The Bombay city in last 5 years, lot of infrastructure changes. But you will hardly find those infrastructures happening, being photographed and being published in the newspapers. You are seeing something differently. You don't see what's happening in the Borivali and what's happening in Kolaba. You are only seeing the glamour kind of pictures in the newspapers. The newspaper have gone glamorous now, not newsy. We are no more newsy.
Sir, on this note, I would love to ask one question to you. So, this shift of what you told, more glamorous, we are seeing a lot of hardships. So, any kind of a construction, because I come from that background, I see the hardship the particular citizen or that location they go through. So, on that note, I would love to ask you that, is it a, like, what do you call it, like the newspaper editors or the board of directors, they are more about like how to run the show or how to showcase the truth? And is there a gap in between where they are trying to move in? So what's your thought process? I am trying to, what do you call, again, make my question as much as filtered as possible.
My thought is that today the newspaper are being sold as a product, not as a news, a piece of news. No, because 80%, 60% you see it either on your mobile or in social media or on television. But I still feel if there is a good publication who comes out with not a ego selling 2 lakh copies every day, but really shows the happenings in the different parts of the city. But that is the need. But who will take a risk of producing such a newspaper is a big issue, because everybody is seeing it in mobile or television or social media. These days we don't go to the door and pick up the newspaper. We see the mobile first.
Sir, that's true, sir. But on that note, just to give you a small idea about in Calcutta, especially on the northern side, So still now there is a culture that.
Calcutta is still better.
Yes. So I'll just tell everyone. So I know a lot of people say that Calcutta is still a lot of like behind the edges, but I feel they are still holding the culture, they're still holding the heritage. So especially on the northern side, North Kolkata. So you will find still today there is a culture that in the morning start of the day, and there the sunrise is pretty early than what we find in Mumbai, because that's more on the eastern side. So morning usually by around 5 a.m. you will get a good sunlight. It's a good sunlight. So 5:30 a.m. is the time, around 5 a.m. is the time where the newspaper is distributed. So around 5:30 you will find that people are sitting outside. So we call it the rock. The rock means the extended part of the platform of the houses, and people will sit and they will read the newspaper, they will have a sip of tea, and that's a culture basically, that's really a culture. And we will talk about this tea culture maybe once we are going to showcase the images as well. We have a very interesting thing to showcase you. So on that note, before we move on, I will love you all to please have a wonderful video showcasing Mukesh sir's wonderful exhibition that was held, and I think let's just have the audio visual. Sound.
This is a book, not exhibition.
Okay, this one is the book. Sound. Okay, no problem. We'll just quickly have it. I think the sound is not coming. gradually. I think this is starting from before my birth, and I have seen lot of faces like which we have been even admired across our what do you call life till now. So I think what a wonderful journey. Thank you so much, sir, for this. Thank you so much. So we will proceed with. We'll proceed with a small session of this question answer. So we'll have the last question for you, sir, for the first panel discussion. So this is on the theme of the timeless core of the craft, which is what we are looking for as a photojournalism. Is that looking at the rapid advancements in the camera technology, editing softwares, and how news is distributed today. If you were to hand a camera to a young aspiring photojournalist sitting in this audience, what is the one timeless, non-negotiable principle of this craft that you would ask them to carry forward?
My answer is, if I had to reduce it to one thing, I would say respect the truth of the moment. Don't manipulate it, don't force it, don't betray it for effect. A camera can give you access to someone's grief, fear, joy, vulnerability. That is, access is a privilege and you must handle it with honesty and humility. Technology will keep changing, cameras will improve, software will improve, platforms will come and go. But your credibility will always depend on whether people believe what you show them. So learn all technical skills, of course, but alongside that develop a patience, empathy and integrity. Those are not old-fashioned values. They are the foundation of profession, and at the end of the day, great photojournalists not remember only for beautiful pictures, but for having seen the world truthfully and shown it responsibly.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. So, I think what a wonderful thought process he has used and he has given to all of us. And I'm sure all who will be watching this video on the World Photography Day, I think we have been seeing on the World Photography Day, सब लोग बाहर जाते हैं, photos लेते हैं. You take the photographs, but I think back end once you come back home and you see this video, I think this will be a lot of learning in your utilizing your ideas, what you have clicked, and keeping the truth alive. So thank you so much, sir, for being here. And we will disconnect the video now and we'll start with the next panel discussion right away. Thank you so much.
Thank you.